Alex, you said it all offseason. We've been waiting for some defensive additions. We kind of got them during the draft in the form of 3 defensive linemen in the middle rounds, but we're still waiting to add to this cornerback room. We're still not exactly sold on this defense. Well, Jessie Bates maybe provide us with a little light, a little something to get excited about, because in an interview today at OTAs, he said that he does not think Terry Fontenot is done adding to this defense. He also said, he also said he's pretty happy with where the team is right now. That might be coach speak, but I am gonna focus on the fact that he did say he doesn't think Terry Fontenot is done yet, which I think, if anybody would know in this locker room, it'd probably be someone like Jessie Bates. That's what I would think.
2 things. Yeah, definitely. Jessie Bates is, up there with Chris Lindstrom, Grady Jarrett. He is a team leader. He might be the most important person on this defense. I don't think it's even close.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but so he would certainly be in the know. Also, Terry Fontenot is probably like, what are you doing, Jesse? Shut up. Basically like, I'm keeping my cards close to my chest, letting you in the circle of trust, and you're breaking it right now. Like, don't say anything to the media. And I hope, because this cornerback room, and I would put the safety room in there as well, that both of them it would be a massive relief to me to just know there's 2 guys in the cornerback room and in the safety room who are, good quality starters. They don't have to be even close to Pro Bowlers, just stability, because we're depending on, in the safety room, Richie Grant, who was supplanted last year by 7th round rookie DeMarco Hellams. We could be high on DeMarco Hellams. I'm okay with that. Maybe we get somebody in the building that is a proven quality starter. And in the cornerback room, you're trying to fill 2 positions, nickel and the boundary, opposite of A.J. Terrell, with 2 of Clark Phillips, who was a day 3 draft pick, showed some life, but got beat up down the stretch, especially against the bigger wide receivers. The one game that comes to my mind is the Bucks and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, Mike Evans made him look like, that scene from Little Giants where Spike drags the little giant on his back. That's what it reminded me of. D. Alford, Mike Hughes, Kevin King, and Antonio Hamilton. That's a joke. And for a Falcons team who has this playoff aspirations, who's been talking all offseason about, once you get into the postseason, who knows what happens. Just let me paint you a picture. If everything goes right, all good. Rarely in the NFL does everything go right. A.J. Terrell goes down for a week, and we've got the Saints or Bucks that week, and we are starting Clark Phillips, D. Halford, and Mike Hughes against these receiving cores. That is a terrible look. That's a terrible look. I don't even care if Clark Phillips works out. I know who hasn't worked out, and that's Mike Hughes, and he's your first guy off the bench in this, scenario. I hope Jessie Bates is right. I hope Terry Fontenot adds to this room. There are guys on the market who can help right now.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote about one the other day. Go check it out at sportstalkatl.com, but a veteran in Steven Nelson. And there's several veterans out there at the cornerback or guys that could play cornerback and safety. I think in general, you're just looking for help. I think 1 or 2 more bodies to the secondary would just do wonders for this entire defense. And we've talked about it. Ryan Nielsen and his presence can't be understated. And then you lose your 2 sack leaders from last year. You hope the rookies can come in and have at least a similar impact as Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell. Maybe Calais Campbell comes back. It just feels like if you just made a few more additions that don't have to be these blockbuster signings, they're just a few million here, a few million there, you would have a much better looking defense. So hopefully Jessie Bates is speaking some truth. Hopefully he has some insider information. He's not just maybe saying something in the media like, hey, Terry, we need a couple more bodies, just letting you know. I'm going to just put this out to the media. Hopefully it's nothing like that. And he actually has heard some rumblings. Maybe he's had some conversations with Calais Campbell, who's still a free agent. So hopefully that is the case. And there's some smoke or there's some fire where their smoke is right now. Because, as we've said, this defense is just not capable it's not capable of contending in the playoffs.
No, it's a lot of questions, and it's questions at the most important positions on defense. It's at pass rusher and cornerback. Like the positions that are solidified. I mean, no offense, the linebacking unit is the least valuable of the 3 levels. It's not even close. And when you got a new coordinator in Jimmy Lake who doesn't have the high praise or anything like that compared to Zach Robinson, his counterpart, more personnel is never going to be a bad thing. Better personnel, more talent is never going to be a bad thing for a first-time defensive coordinator at this level. I think, quite frankly, it's going to be disappointing if we go up there and this offense is doing its thing and the defense lets them down at times, because right now this is a below average unit, and you can always get better. You can have timely stops, timely turnovers. Those things do exist, while the overall box score doesn't tell the full story, especially on defense. And that is possible. But right now, I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
Well, yeah. And then, I mean, we've talked about the gauntlet that is the first 5 weeks, and a lot of the things that we've talked about on the offensive side and how they're going to have to gel. Well, the defense is going to have to do the same thing under a new defensive coordinator. And those offenses you're facing, okay, the Saints, you don't really know what they're going to be, but they should be at least an average offense. The Bucks, maybe they take a step back, but still an average offense. The Chiefs, one of the better offenses in the league. The Eagles, one of the better offenses in the league. And the Steelers, which you can say what you want about Arthur Smith, but I'm much higher on that offense this year than I have been with Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith, and they're already praising Arthur Smith. And what did we talk about when we talked about that game? They want to go out there and make a statement for Arthur Smith. So that offense is going to be dialed in. They got the veterans in there. I mean, I think this defense is going to be just as tested early on as the offense.
Yeah, and this game is a yin and yang. You cannot do it without one or the other. And this offense, projects as a better than average fringe top 10 unit, depending on how Kirk Cousins and Zach Robinson assimilate with all the weapons in Atlanta. But this defense has way more questions than answers, and they're at the most important positions: coordinator, pass rusher, cornerback. So, I mean, they are legitimate questions, and they can talk, and they're super high on the guys inside the building. But from where I sit, it's a pretty crazy confidence level to have when these guys are very unproven to this point in their respective careers.